said to donate 100 million to Nigel Farage's Reform Party. If that's true, it would be, as I understand, the biggest political donation in British history. It would sure put rocket boosters, if you'll excuse the SpaceX pun, under reform ahead of the next election, wouldn't it? Elon Musk just sent shockwaves through the political world, dropping a revelation about Angela Rayner that caught everyone off guard. Social media is already on fire, and the implications could be huge. So what exactly did Musk expose, and how is Rayner reacting to the uproar? Let's dive into the details. As the potential trade war ramps up, Elon Musk's task force has been pushing to gain access to sensitive government information, targeting a federal agency. Chief Washington correspondent John Carl has that story. Good morning, John. The scene was primed for a confrontation no one saw coming, one that would send shockwaves through British politics. On one side, Angela Rayner, Labour's rising powerhouse known for her fiery speeches and unwavering working-class credentials. On the other, Elon Musk, the unpredictable billionaire whose bold statements and controversial takes have a habit of shaking up the status quo. What started as just another political discussion quickly escalated into a moment that had everyone watching. What do you think about what Elon Musk has been tweeting about Britain and the Prime Minister over the last few days? Well, what I say is that all social media companies have responsibilities as well to deal with fake news. We've seen a lot of fake information being shared on online platforms. We've seen a lot of hate, and people have a responsibility to not conduct themselves in a way that amplifies that, but actually to deal with online misinformation and not to spread hate. We don't want to see that whether it's online or offline, and people who are online spreading violence and inciting violence will be met with the law, just like those who turn up and try to throw missiles at police and our communities. It all started with what seemed like an innocent tweet from Musk, casually discussing the future of electric vehicles in the UK. But Angela Rayner, never one to shy away from a political fight, fired back, calling out billionaires for interfering in government affairs. What she didn't expect was Musk's response. Instead of brushing it off, he replied with a cryptic and unsettling message, hinting at secrets that could make her regret throwing the first punch. Suddenly, this wasn't just a policy debate, it was the beginning of something much bigger. Musk has declared that very few companies would be willing to invest in the UK under the current administration. Now, this wasn't just some off-the-cuff remark. Musk made this statement in response to a letter from Scottish politicians who were hoping to woo Tesla into opening a new gigafactory in Scotland. The online exchange quickly spiraled into a media firestorm, dominating headlines and capturing the attention of major news networks. What started as a Twitter spat had now escalated into something far bigger. Both Musk and Rayner had agreed to go head-to-head in a live televised interview. As they took their seats, the atmosphere was electric. Rayner, exuding her usual confidence, looked prepared to defend her stance. Meanwhile, Musk sat back with his trademark smirk, seemingly unfazed by the brewing storm. From the very first words exchanged, it became clear this wouldn't be just another political debate, it was about to get much, much bigger. Reports now suggest that Musk would like to see Prime Minister Rishi Sunak removed before the next general election. He believes that Western civilization is under threat. There has been a lot of pushback. The Labour government's policy seems to either be to answer journalists' questions by attacking Musk or trying to ignore him entirely. But as you pointed out, China can't be ignored. Elon Musk is not just the richest man in the world, some argue he is also one of the most powerful. Musk, known for his unpredictability, seemed unusually composed, almost as if he had been preparing for this moment with calculated precision. He deflected any mention of his own controversies, steering the conversation back to Rayner's past at every opportunity. Rayner, to her credit, held her ground, responding with her signature poise. But for those paying close attention, there was a shift, just a flicker of tension creeping into her voice. Then came the moment that changed everything. Musk shifted the discussion to transparency in public life, delivering his words with a gravity that made the entire room pause. The audience, once buzzing with anticipation, now sat in silence, hanging on to his every word. Something big was coming. The free speech debate isn't the only point of contention between Musk and Labour leader Keir Starmer. Remember those riots in the UK last summer? Musk weighed in on that controversy as well, dubbing the Prime Minister to Keir. He wasn't the only one. This nickname was Musk's way of criticizing what he saw as unequal treatment in the justice system. He argued that the punishments handed out to those involved in the riots were disproportionate, especially when compared to other crimes. Musk's words carried undeniable gravity as he emphasized leadership and the necessity of full transparency. His statement lingered in the air, heavy with unspoken meaning, casting an almost palpable tension over the studio. For viewers at home, something felt off. Rayner, known for her no-nonsense, straight-talking persona, seemed momentarily unsettled. It was fleeting, barely noticeable, but for those watching closely, the shift was unmistakable. Musk's words had landed, and whether intentional or not, they had struck a nerve. He said, "I don't think anyone should go to the UK when they're releasing convicted paedophiles in order to imprison people for social media posts. Blimey, talk about not pulling any punches." This wasn't just Musk being petty, it actually speaks to a core issue that has been at the heart of his conflict with Labour. It's about free speech. What secrets did Musk uncover that the public had yet to learn? As it turned out, in the weeks leading up to this explosive interview, Musk had been preparing behind the scenes. He had assembled a dedicated team of researchers, each tasked with scrutinizing every aspect of Rayner's past. Nothing was left to chance. Public records were combed through, former colleagues were contacted, and her political history was dissected with forensic precision. Musk wasn't just here to debate, he had come armed with information. Musk has positioned himself as a champion of free speech. In fact, he has even gone as far as to brand himself as a free speech absolutist. Musk is an absolutist in his view, believing that Labour under Starmer's leadership is on the wrong side of this debate. Musk has repeatedly accused Starmer of restricting free speech in Britain. He has taken particular issue with the UK's online safety bill, which aims to regulate harmful content on social media platforms. In Musk's eyes, this is a step too far and is potentially stifling free expression online. It's really important to him, but the outcome, a meticulously assembled dossier brimming with revelations, was each one capable of unraveling the carefully crafted image Rayner had built over the years. Hidden within the findings were connections, strategic maneuvers, and past decisions that, when examined together, revealed a far more intricate and potentially controversial narrative of her ascent within the Labour Party. If made public, these details had the power to reshape public perception in ways Rayner had never anticipated. The Scottish politicians are eager to get Musk's attention. It would be a huge boom for them. With Musk's latest comments, that dream seems to be slipping away. It's not just about Tesla, Musk's words carry weight in the business world. If other tech giants and investors start echoing his sentiment, it could spell real trouble for Labour's economic plans. Rayner's reputation as a no-nonsense working-class champion was about to be tested like never before. Musk, keeping his tone steady and deliberate, honed in on a crucial detail. Rayner had long positioned herself as a self-made politician, someone who had risen from humble beginnings through sheer determination. But according to Musk's team, the reality wasn't so simple. With precise timing, he presented his findings, evidence of previously undisclosed meetings between Rayner and corporate lobbyists dating back to her early political career. For the first time, Rayner's confidence seemed to falter. It was subtle, just a flicker of unease, but in a high-stakes moment like this, even the smallest reaction spoke volumes. The free speech debate isn't the only point of contention between Musk and Starmer. Remember those riots in the UK last summer? Well, Musk waded into that controversy as well, dubbing the Prime Minister to Keir. He wasn't the only one. This nickname was Musk's way of criticizing what he saw as unequal treatment in the justice system. He argued that the punishments handed out to those involved in the riots were disproportionate, especially when compared to other crimes. Now, Musk wasn't just another politician playing a tactical game. He was an outsider with limitless resources and a well-earned reputation for shaking up the establishment, and he came prepared. He laid out his case, citing private meetings in upscale London restaurants, closed-door discussions, and financial support that had never appeared in official records. Each revelation chipped away at the carefully constructed image Rayner had spent years cultivating. Sensing the tension, the host attempted to steer the conversation in a different direction, but Musk wasn't finished. He pressed on, driving home his point: the public had a right to know who truly holds influence over British politics. Starmer has made attracting businesses to Britain a central pillar of his economic strategy, at least in theory. With the UK facing low growth and the aftermath of some pretty hefty tax rises, which is putting it mildly, Starmer has been on a mission to woo international investors. So, having the world's richest man essentially giving your country's business climate a thumbs down? Not exactly the ringing endorsement Starmer was hoping for. Let's not forget what sparked this latest round of tension: the possibility of a Tesla gigafactory in Scotland. These aren't just any old factories. They are massive facilities that produce both electric vehicles and the batteries that power them. A gigafactory in the UK would mean thousands of jobs and a significant boost to the country's manufacturing sector. To her credit, Rayner didn't retreat. She fired back, dismissing Musk's claims as baseless conspiracy theories from a billionaire with too much influence and too little accountability. But something had changed. Her usual sharp, unwavering rebuttal felt slightly off balance. And for those watching at home, the shift in momentum was undeniable. By the time the interview concluded, the fallout was already unfolding. Political analysts scrambled to dissect the revelations, while Labour Party officials convened behind closed doors for urgent discussions. The question now looming over British politics: what did this mean for Rayner's future? This wasn't just a spat between a billionaire and a political party. It was about the future of free speech in the digital age, the challenges of attracting international investment in the post-Brexit economy, and the delicate balance between regulation and innovation. Whether you agree with Musk or think he's way off the mark, one thing is undeniable: his words have power. They can move markets and influence public opinion. Rayner, once celebrated for her authenticity and strong working-class roots, now found herself at the center of a storm. Labour supporters faced a dilemma: stand by her or demand answers. What once seemed like an unshakable image was now under scrutiny, creating uncertainty and division within her base. Meanwhile, Musk's reputation as an unfiltered outsider only grew stronger. His unconventional approach had shown just how easily even the most well-established political figures could be challenged. Whether people saw him as an agitator or a necessary disruptor, his influence was undeniable. As the dust settled, one thing became clear: the power dynamics in British politics had shifted in ways no one saw coming. Those comments, are not harmless. People remember them. And in the machinery of politics, when leaders appear on the world stage, it's very likely that members of the international press or community may well bring up those comments once again. And as you say, Alex, I think the video that's been doing the rounds this week is from 2020, when Angela Rayner wasn't in Jeremy Corbyn's shadow cabinet, she was in Keir Starmer's. Should we have a look at that video? We've got that video, let's play it. Here we go. Angela Rayner, once a key figure in Labour's rise, now found herself in damage control mode. The revelations about her undisclosed meetings with corporate lobbyists had shaken the very foundation of her carefully crafted working-class image. The backlash was swift and relentless. Her approval ratings plummeted, and even her most loyal supporters began demanding answers. Labour's leadership, already dealing with internal divisions, now faced a difficult decision: would they stand by Rayner and try to ride out the controversy, or begin quietly distancing themselves to limit the political fallout? The stakes had never been higher. At the same time, Musk's unexpected entry into British politics sparked a much larger debate about transparency and influence in public life. To some, he was a necessary disruptor, forcing uncomfortable truths into the open and challenging the political establishment. To others, his actions raised serious ethical questions: should a billionaire have the power to shape political narratives with unlimited resources? No matter which side of the debate you fall on, one thing is clear: this moment changed British politics in a way that won't be forgotten.